I look at media ecology as an open system and a network, much like we think of the internet as a network. So there's no boundary in which you say somebody is or isn't part of media ecology. They're just perhaps closer to the core or further afield from the core. And there are distinctions we can make between, say, kinds of studies or discussions that are more media ecological or less so. So I wouldn't answer that, as he is or isn't. I could tell you that I know of individuals who consider René Girard to be a media ecologist. And it almost becomes a kind of game that we play where, well, do you think this person's a media ecologist? And then you can make an argument for supporting that based on the kinds of things that person has written or spoken about. So I will just say that there is support among media ecologists to include René Girard. And he's not somebody who's very significant in my work, but that's me, right? And I often like to say that there is no such thing as media ecology as a thing. There's what media ecology is to me, what media ecology is to you. Everyone's got their own idea of what it is, and they overlap to a significant extent, but they're not the same. Well, first of all, I would engage in disambiguation, to use the Wikipedia term, and say that what we mean by media ecology is not what comes up in journalism quite often these days, where they talk about the media ecology or the digital media ecology or whatever, where they're just talking about the interaction among different specific media of communication. And for us in media ecology, it is a field of study, a field of inquiry, and an intellectual tradition. So we talk about studies and authors and thinkers as being media ecological. And I would say, I always go back to Neil Postman's original definition. I think that was the best, that it was the study of media as environments. To which I add a small footnote because, technically media and environments are synonymous. We often don't think of them that way, but really a medium is something that surrounds and pervades us at every turn. We, say fish swim in the medium of water, we move through the medium of air, we see through the medium of light, and so forth. So I would say that media ecology is also the study of environments, study of environments as media. The rooms that we're in, the buildings that we inhabit, the structures, the cities and the streets, all of these are also media that structure how we think and act and communicate and organize ourselves. So you could put it both ways. You could also just say it's the study of media as media, because most people just study economics and its effects on media, or politics and its effects on media, but we're looking at media themselves, for themselves, and how they are the prime movers, which is also the study of environments as environments. At the same time, since all these terms can be understood as interchangeable. So for me, the primary point is that we're looking at things environmentally, so that, say, a smartphone is not this gadget that I hold in my hand that I might choose to use or not use, and I might decide never to have one in the first place. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about an environment in which there are smartphones, so that even if you never touched one in your life, you are influenced, you are shaped by the environment of the smartphone. Not to mention the fact that we go into it in a sense, just as we more readily say now, you go online, you go on the web. Even something like Microsoft Word is called a word processing environment because we go into them. So, and the key idea then is to think about these things, think about all of our all the ways that we influence and alter our environment, and we do this continually in our kind of society, which then feeds back into us and then shapes ourselves. So with that, along with thinking environmentally or ecologically, I would say that the fundamental question for media ecology is how. It's that how we do things, or the way. If you're into Eastern kind of spirituality, the Tao, right? The way that we do things has an enormous impact on what we do. Right? It really structures what we can do and what we can't do, and what we choose to do is constrained and possibilities opened up by the way that we do things, and that in turn shapes who we are. It shapes our environment. It shapes who we are. So to me, the fundamental question is the question of how, the means, the method, the medium.